Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Choked Out Radio. I am your host, Jim Wrestle. I'm here with Vibes
in the building.
And Sosa.
Miguel Sosa. You already know, baby.
My shirt.
My shirt.
As you know, we're in the midst of recording this season. So the last episode we did of Chris Jericho will drop very soon. So thank you for your support as always. But this week we wanted to take a different spin on it. We'll spend some time, not too much time, on the pandemic era, which is, I guess, from March 12th or whenever Rudy Gobert got the virus, right? I felt once a basketball player got the virus.
After he touched everything.
Touched the mics and everything, he just spread it to the world, right?
Unbelievable.
So I want to take a step back. Elimination Chamber 2020, right? So I did see that Shayna Baszler, that's the one that she dominated and had the number one contendership against Becky. And then and then also the Miz and Morrison, I think that's when he first came back, and they won their chamber as well. So what are your thoughts? Just in general, right? So of course you hear the rumbling of this pandemic from China, and it's coming, and I guess we didn't take it too serious until the basketball player got the virus, right? So what are your thoughts leading up into, or at this time 1 year ago almost? We'll start with Vibes and we'll go to Sosa.
It feels like a lifetime ago, man. There was like fans in the crowd. Like I almost forgot that Chamber was the last pay-per-view that had fans. And then that was it. Everything changed. I don't think did they have fans the night after at Raw?
Maybe that was like the last one.
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
He got a good week. I feel like everything had just shut down after that.
Yeah. Because I think SmackDown was like the last event that had fans, and then that Monday,
that's it. Right.
Everything got canceled and they moved to the Performance Center. But, yeah, man, it was just crazy, bro. Like, just from one day to the next, how everything changed. Yeah, we heard about it. There was videos of people, being barricaded in their homes in China and people collapsing in airports because they were sick. But you're like, oh, it's over there. It's not coming here. And then sure enough, here it is. And then, everything changed. I know that, we had some plans for the show. We were going to do a live version of the show.
For Mania.
And that all got for Mania. We had like a whole plan going on, and everything got thrown out the window, man. I remember we met to discuss it, and then like a week later, that's it. We finalized everything, and then a week later, that was it. It was over.
They shut down all the restaurants, all the bars in New York.
Yeah. All indoor dining was closed.
Yeah. It was a weird time.
Non-essential businesses closed.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a lifetime ago, man. But it was just like
almost a year.
Little over
almost a year.
Almost a year.
I mean,
we're
still in the pandemic. I mean, right now we're not even together doing this podcast. Right. We're usually doing it together, but you got to adapt to the times and find other ways to make it work. But I remember this like it was yesterday. We started hearing this around February, and again, it's that whole mentality here in the U.S. where it's happening in another country, it's not going to affect us. And then online you started seeing videos in Italy, people quarantining, being locked down, people passing away, and then the whole thing about China. And it's funny because in WWE they don't really acknowledge so much going on, like all the things that's going on in the world. Like WWE is just like a bubble, and I don't feel like till this day I think they've only said COVID a few times on TV. They don't really mention it. They just pretty much say that due to the times, they can't have any fans or anything like that. But it took a while for everyone to adapt to what was going on, and then now, they're doing shows with no fans, doing shows in one arena, everyone is in a bubble, just like how they did in the NBA. But, you got to do what you got to do to make money,
I agree. So then leading up into WrestleMania 36, right? So, Drew McIntyre, his big moment, obviously, it came in front of empty fans, right? You have all these highly anticipated matches, and obviously everything was canceled for Raymond James, and they waited a long time, right? So that was a little controversial. I guess there was a wait and see approach. Everyone thought it was just going to be like a 1 week or 2 week thing, and wound up obviously not being that. So what are your thoughts on one the way they handled WrestleMania, the way the transfer from Raymond James into the Performance Center, and two, what were your overall thoughts on the Plan B or what you saw those 2 nights?
So I think they should have postponed Mania.
Like right away.
For at least like
postponed it in general.
A few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, for at least a few weeks, just so that they can, figure out what to do. Because the closer we got to it, more and more people started dropping out. Because one, for their own health, or because they were afraid of like bringing it home to their families. Like they didn't really have like testing. They didn't have none of that stuff. Like Roman Reigns pulled out because his immune system is compromised. And it just felt weird, man. Like there was no crowd. Like you could hear everything. It didn't feel like a WrestleMania. It felt like I was at my local bingo hall watching, the indies. And I kind of felt bad for some of these wrestlers, because like, a lot of them wait their whole life for this, and it's like it got taken away. They did the video package with Rhea Ripley. She's like walking in Raymond James Stadium, and then her first WrestleMania was in an empty arena.
What about Drew McIntyre?
Drew McIntyre.
Vignette. Yeah, that was right before he almost didn't make it back in. to fly back.
And being able to beat Brock Lesnar on the biggest stage there is, and there was nobody there to witness it. It kind of sucked. I think they should have postponed it. They should have still done it at Raymond James since it was outdoors. Or they could have, it was still early in the pandemic, so a lot of people didn't really know what was going on. But I just think, had they done, because SummerSlam was the first time they used all the screens.
Right. That was the first time. Thunderdome was the first paper.
Had they waited and figured that out first, it probably would have made it seem like, okay, fine, it kind of feels like WrestleMania. But even going back and watching it, I think what saved Mania was the cinematic matches.
That's what I was going to tell you. So, what do you think on the 2 cinematic matches? The Boneyard match and then the Firefly Funhouse match.
Boneyard match was phenomenal, bro, and all the precautions they took so nobody got sick and everything. Like just the whole overall presentation was dope, and I think that saved night 1. Night 2 with the Firefly Funhouse, John Cena, like that was just felt like you were on drugs, tripping out. But it was also it was dope. It was dope because it also saved night 2. And you kind of forgot for a second, like, there's no fans because they stayed away from the arena. But it was difficult. It was a difficult transition. But like I said, I think they should have postponed it. I understand storylines, and this is a business that you can't really be postponing things because it's like a spoke on a wheel. It's gonna keep spinning. But I don't know, man. I just thought it was weird. But they adapted.
They adapted well, and I feel like they, I agree with the whole postponing the event because there was so much uncertainty. I just felt like they weren't ready to produce a show of that magnitude because it's WrestleMania, man. I don't think the fans were prepared for it. Again, this is a WrestleMania with no fans. Like, we've never thought this was going to happen. But you know what? I wasn't hyped at all for that WrestleMania, but watching it, it was great. I feel like every match, did its part. I mean, I wasn't too crazy about the main event matches. You know, the ones for the world titles. I wasn't the Universal and the world title. I wasn't crazy about those matches because they were short. It didn't, you know, it was just each person doing their finishers over and over again, and you know, kickouts and false finishes, and it didn't deliver, because if that was in front of a crowd, I guarantee you they will get booed out. I think that you know, some of those matches,
Agreed.
I think, you know, fans would have felt like they were robbed. But you know, they did their part, you know. Drew McIntyre's match with Brock Lesnar, it was short. It was just each guy doing their finishers on each other. I don't think it lasted probably 4 minutes, the match. Come on, man. You know, like that I did not expect that to happen. I think what saved WrestleMania was the cinematic matches. You know, I felt like some matches were just thrown together last minute. You know, there was no promotion behind it, no story. And, you know, it felt rushed, but, you know, there were good matches. But I think that if it was in front of a live crowd, people wouldn't be into it as other previous WrestleManias.
It's the Goldbergs, like, doing the same move over and over. It's like you're playing No Mercy, and all you're doing is hitting your special.
Because it was Goldberg against Braun Strowman.
And the belt.
Yeah. And if you watch that match was
spears.
Yeah, that match was similar to the Lesnar McIntyre match.
Yeah. Almost like the agent just said, "Hey, just copy paste," right? Literally.
Yeah, that's all it was. It's like, hey, both you guys just keep doing your finishers for 4 minutes and keep kicking out until
one of you can't kick out anymore.
Yeah.
Definitely wanted to transition into the Undertaker's last, I guess, match, right? So you think this is a great way for him to go out? You think he would have preferred, actually wrestling AJ one-on-one as opposed to cinematic match? This was the last appearance of the Good Brothers. What are your thoughts on that on the way they, I guess, handled that?
I don't think it was his last match, because you usually lose your last match.
Right.
But I thought the story they told and the story that they keep telling, I don't know if you notice, but every time Taker gets brought up or there's like an image of Taker, AJ freaks out. So I don't know where that's going to lead to. Because I don't know if you remember Money in the Bank, when he was running on the hallway and there was a picture of the Undertaker, he kind of like freaked out.
Yep.
But I thought the match was dope. I thought the story was dope. It was real, because they were saying a lot of real stuff to each other. Talking about the wife. That was the first time Undertaker acknowledged his wife, Michelle McCool. You know, I like the storytelling was dope. You know, and AJ, him as a heel, you can't ask for anything more. And his balls on AJ Styles. He's the one that went and was like, I want a match with this guy.
Right.
You know, and doing a cinematic match with a guy like Undertaker, can he do one more? Sure. Can he do another one? Absolutely. That's how they should do Goldberg matches, because Goldberg sucks, bro. I'm sorry. But I thought the match was dope. I like the behind the scenes footage that they released.
Yeah.
Putting it all together. The ending, how he just like posed in front of his burning logo and the way he drove off.
Yeah.
If it was his last match, that would be a dope way to go out.
Yeah.
You know, the guy deserves it. He's 30 plus years in the business, locker room leader, busting his ass. I thought it was a great ending to the story. Will he come back?
Who knows?
You never know. WWE, you never know.
What do you think, Sosa?
Yeah, I agree. I think that match, I remember texting you guys that I feel like this is one of the greatest Undertaker WrestleMania matches of all time.
Yeah.
It was so different. You know, it was something that pretty much kind of you had all all of Undertaker's like it was like a history, like the history of the Undertaker, all in one. I mean, I wish they would have had Kane in there. I wish they would have had some sort of acknowledged pallbearers in some way. But you had the American Badass Taker pretty much like come back in a graveyard match, and I think it told a great story, and I think it was cool they added the Good Brothers in there for backup. But yeah, it was great. It was filmed perfectly in my opinion. They had some pretty cool spots in the match. Yeah, again, I felt like for Taker to go out that way, I think it was a great way for him to go out. Again, yeah, it could have been in front of fans. It would have been nice, but we've seen Taker kind of not deliver the way that he should in other WrestleManias, against younger guys, and you know he probably would have felt that he because we watched the documentary.
Yeah.
If he wasn't impressed with his performance, he probably wanted to do it all over again and try to go out the right way. And I think this time around, he probably felt like, that's it. This is good enough. He was content with how everything went down. AJ Styles is probably the best wrestler in the world, and he delivered, and I think it was cool, man. I think it was cool to see Taker go out the way that he did. I think that eventually, once fans are back in the arena, they'll probably do something for him. Most likely the Hall of Fame ceremony or something in front of a live crowd, like probably present Taker as like an inductee, and he'll come out and everybody gives him a standing ovation. But yeah, I think he's at peace with himself, so that's what matters.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. It's crazy how, if you watch the Last Ride documentary, he got cut up very early in that. They had to like fix him up, and also finding out that his brother died. So I don't even know. He's so professional. He didn't have to like go through with that, right? The match.
Yeah.
He wound up just finishing the match. So just to be in his position. The virus, the brother dying, his cut, and he was able to be a professional finisher. It just goes to show you how professional Mark Calloway is, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah. Wanted to transition to night two real quick, and then we'll fast forward to Money in the Bank and then SummerSlam, and then eventually move into Bad Bunny somehow, right? So night two, you had John Cena against Bray Wyatt, right? Or The Fiend, right? So I was there in WrestleMania 30. I thought Wyatt should have went over. I think his career kind of like went the wrong way after that. To me, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this cinematic match and how they did this, and John Cena going out the way he did? What are your thoughts, Vibes?
Props to Cena, man, for putting him over, because that's just John Cena. He does what the company wants, or if he doesn't agree with it, he'll change it. I thought it was dope. I love the storytelling with the Bray Wyatt character, how he's going after everybody that had an effect on his career in some way, shape, or form, and just eliminating them. And then he puts a picture of them on the wall with their eyes crossed out. I think that's pretty dope. I thought the match was cool because it went through every stage of Cena's career. And it told a story. It told a story how, there's a rumor that he used to hold people back.
Well,
and yo, 7 cents, bro.
7 cents. So as we were saying, we're live in New York. So question was, we were talking about the Firefly Funhouse, right? So
I actually just watched it.
You just watched it? What were your thoughts on the Firefly Funhouse as compared to what Wyatt has done in the past?
Creatively, probably the dopest thing WWE ever produced. It was like a tripped out moment, going through every incarnation of John Cena's career. Like even showing like him as a heel with NWO colors on, because there was always like those stupid internet, oh, what if John Cena bring back the NWO kind of stupid thing.
That was amazing to see.
Who would be in Cena's NWO? And just all the twists and turns and how he just finally snapped and lost it and just was pounding on Wyatt, and he was gone. I thought that whoever put this together, whatever they smoked, past that. It was probably like it saved night 2 of WrestleMania. It really did.
It to me, I that match, I mean, it wasn't even a match. It was more like you said, it was more like it was like a tribute to Cena in a way, but it also incorporated Bray Wyatt in it, the different characters that he was presenting at the Firefly Funhouse. Seeing Cena in that NWO shirt though, man, he looked good in it. He looked good in that NWO shirt, man. Right. But yeah, it was great, man. It was great. It wasn't a match. It was just great storytelling. It was very entertaining. And it's something that I feel like, in the it's WWE. It's entertainment, and in that, in the entertainment factor, that match or that segment stood out so much to me. And it was something that was all over the internet. It got so many reviews, like so many people were talking about it on social media and everything. Like that thing delivered. That segment definitely delivered. But we know that Cena's gonna come back. Cena's gonna have to like that. He's not gonna go out that way. I think. But it was great. It was great. And I think they should do more of that, in my opinion, especially during this time, because there's so many stories going on with a lot of these, especially guys that cannot perform the way that they could. I'm not saying Cena's not on that level yet, but there's a lot of guys that you have that you can do that with, like they don't have to perform in the ring. They can just do these cool cinematic segments where it's like storytelling, and they can get physical for a little bit, but then things happen. And with Bray Wyatt, he's a perfect person for this, because my gosh, Bray Wyatt is probably one of the most creative guys we've seen in the past decade, or probably ever. So there's so much you can do with that character, and any feud that he's in, you can just make it work,
Right, no, I agree. So that was WrestleMania, and then they were in the Performance Center for a bit. And then I'm going to fast forward a little bit to Money in the Bank. Vibes had mentioned it earlier. What are your thoughts on the actual concept of in the WWE old HQ that I think they moved, getting the briefcases from the top for both the men's and women?
I thought it was creative, stupid but creative. It was pretty cool that they actually showed the inside of Titan Towers.
Yeah.
I've never really seen much of it, just like maybe Vince's office and like Triple H's office, but like to actually have them go through the entire building, the lobby, the elevator, conference rooms, staircases, like break rooms, the bathroom. I thought it was pretty cool. It was different, and they got people talking. And in this day and age, it's about shock factor now, right? So you gotta like do shit to get people to talk. And that's what they did. They did a lot of dumb things though, like people getting thrown off the building.
Yeah.
That was stupid. I'm sorry.
And then they came back the next night like nothing happened.
What are your thoughts on the men's side? What are you guys' thoughts on the men's side? We'll still revive. So Otis winning, or the way he did.
I just thought it was stupid. It was no point. What was the point of him winning?
Right.
Yeah, he was popular at the time, and like with everything, even his action figure, like it was everywhere. It was sold out, and then when they brought it back, it was triple the price because everybody was freaking out over Otis. And then he just dropped his stock, and he lost the briefcase to the Miz, which I don't know what they're gonna do with that. Like he cashed it in, they gave it back to him.
Right.
I don't know. This is weird, but I didn't understand the logic behind. Like there was no long-term plan as far as like Otis winning.
That's what I'm saying.
It didn't make any sense.
Right.
It made no sense at all.
And even the way he won it, it was we never seen that before. No. He didn't even climb the ladder. No. He didn't get the briefcase from the top of the ladder. It just fell in his hands.
Right.
You know,
and he almost didn't catch it.
Yeah, he almost didn't catch it.
Almost botched it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that match could have been delivered in a better way. It was pretty much just them fighting. It was them fighting throughout the. Because wasn't it both
at the same
women's
time.
And the men's going on simultaneously?
It was at the same time.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was pretty funny, especially when they came came together in the different rooms in the offices and stuff like that. They had some pretty cool spots. Mm-hmm. But it was just pretty much punch and kick the whole time. Yeah. There was a few spots in the ring, whatever. They did the whole thing. They threw Rey Mysterio over the roof. Which I don't know. I mean, I've obviously we've driven by there plenty of times. That was, I don't know how they did that. Because that's a pretty deep fall. Because I know there's a second deck. I would be scared for my life, bro, to get thrown over. But no, they made it work. And then they had to explain it the night after, like Vibes mentioned that. Yeah. Oh no, they didn't die. They just landed on the second deck. But no, I mean, it was just one of those things that WWE was trying to do something different. They couldn't get arenas. They couldn't, I guess they just couldn't, they didn't know what to do. And since they owned that building, they just said, let's just do the event on the roof. They built a ring up there, which is pretty cool. But again, it was just, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of it. I don't think you guys were.
I thought it was interesting.
It was interesting. It was different.
It was different. On the women's side, what are your thoughts of Asuka winning? But we wound up finding out that Becky was with child, and basically the match was for the belt. You thought they should have made the announcement at the pay-per-view, or you thought it was right the way they handled that? What are your thoughts, Vibes, on that?
I thought it was the right way to handle it. It just raised the stakes for the Money in the Bank because we never know now what's inside. Is it a contract? Is it a belt? I don't know. Asuka's she's had the belt that entire time.
No, she lost it to Sasha, I think.
Oh yeah.
And then she won it back.
Yeah, she won it back. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that match was for the belt though.
No, it was for the Money in the Briefcase. But the next night she got.
Yeah, she was just given the title, which I didn't agree with.
I didn't like the way they did it.
Right.
But again, I thought it was different. It got people, they got the internet buzzing, and that's what they're looking for now. Right. Especially, with the pandemic era, they can't get a reaction in the arena, so they get the erection pulse. They get the reaction from social media. So they're getting their reactions from social media, and people going crazy, the Marks, the JDs from New York bugging out that they're gonna screaming so loud in their basements. They're gonna wake their mom up.
Exactly. So we're gonna fast forward to SummerSlam, which is the first event in the Thunderdome, right, in the Amway Arena. So what are your thoughts on the? Obviously, it's award-winning, by the way, because no one's have been able to pull that off. NBA a little bit, but a lot of the leagues have not been able to adapt. WWE has done a great job adapting to that virtual model, similar to what we're using here. What are your thoughts on the overall presentation? And then we'll get into the main 2 title matches. What are your thoughts, vibes on the whole first pay-per-view in the Thunderdome?
I tuned in because I wanted to see what it looked like. Right. I thought it was pretty cool. And then them sending out like an invite so you could be on the screen. I just kind of wish that it was more of that's your view from wherever you are on the screen than just watching it like you're watching on TV, and your face is in the corner from your computer. And it's also delayed. It's like a 10-second delay from what you're watching on the computer and what's actually playing on the TV.
On TV? Okay.
But I thought it was cool. Like the presentation was dope. I just hate the piped in crowd noise.
Same here.
That's the thing. That's the thing that drives me insane is like the fake crowd noise, because it kind of takes away from what's going on in the ring.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think they're just giving the audience watching on TV this. You're used to hearing that sound, that whole feel, you know, you're used to, and they're doing that in the NBA. They're doing that in the NFL. You know, they're doing that even in baseball. They did the same thing, you know, and I think it's also for the performers, you know, they're giving them that feeling like, oh, we're being watched, you know, like when the heel does something, you hear the boos. When the face does something, you hear the cheers. So it probably just is, I guess it's just something that they're used to hearing all the time. But I agree. I think that I know Impact right now they just added that, and all you just hear is just, you don't hear the cheers and boos. You just hear noise in the background, like if people are talking, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they're doing that. Right. But it's kind of funny because you know that there's no fans there. You know that they're just adding that for show. And it's kind of like the WWE is letting you know who to cheer for and who to boo for. You know?
That's the problem. Like, all right, so let's fast forward to this past Friday, right? Like Roman Reigns came out and it's like they're booing. Like they're playing the booing sound, right? But it doesn't go with anything that's going on in the ring. Like, okay, he just came out and it's like, boo. I feel like I'm watching like if I have the button and I'm pressing it myself, like the boo button. Right. You know, they're not giving it like it's not organic, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And I get it because of the era that we're in. Fine, but like ease up on the booing, like, or the crowd noise. Let it come out when something happens, like something crazy, like what normally happens with the crowd there. I think they just press the track, let it play in the background. And I don't know, I just don't like it. For me, it turns me off on the product, but I'd rather have something than have nothing.
Right.
Because not having crowd noise to watch, man.
And you know, just to rewind a little bit, going back to WrestleMania, not for nothing, man. Like one thing that stood out to me about that event, and if you guys rewatch it, like you can hear, like it was just different. Like the matches, like you can hear them talking to each other. Right. I'm not talking about them calling spots. Right. You didn't hear none of that. No, but you heard them talking crap to each other. Yeah. You heard the bumps, like clearly. You know what I mean? And you hear the chops, the punches, the slaps, everything. You heard everything, man. And I think that added to it. You know, now you don't hear it as much because now they're adding the background noise. Mm-hmm. But something that stood out to me about WrestleMania and what made me enjoy it was that a lot of these guys, you hear them just talking crap to each other in the ring. And that was pretty cool to watch, you know, because you see it happening even with fans in the crowd. You hear them talking crap to each other, but not as clearly as you did at that WrestleMania event with no fans, because remember there was no background noise or anything. It was just you could hear a pin drop. But it was, I think that to me like made me appreciate it a little bit more. And another thing to add, watching Roman Reigns right now, who's pretty much carrying the SmackDown brand, his promos has improved 1,000%, 1,000%. And I would say
letting him be himself.
Exactly. And it's not only Roman Reigns, it's other people. If you hear their promos, they're not being interrupted by the crowd. They're delivering whatever message they're trying to deliver. You know, like one thing, I was watching this with my girl, and they were, you know, you're used to hearing the what chants.
Yeah.
And you don't hear that no more. And I remember like the what chants annoy the crap out of me, man.
Or
like,
CM Punk. I hate that shit.
Oh my God. Or the CM Punk, or, you know, like, come on, man, you know, let them deliver their promo, and they don't have to worry about that right now. So they're hitting the points. Right now, we're seeing some of the best promo work in, like, I mean, in a long time from a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of guys are coming out of that shell, and they're stepping up their promo game, and it's due to the fans not being there.
No, I agree 100%. It makes you step up, right? Or a lot of those folks have stepped up, right? And forced to step up. So so speaking of Roman Reigns, he comes back. Well, I kind of skipped the whole Swamp thing. I thought it was between Wyatt and the Fiend, right? So it took a couple of times.
The good thing to come out of the Swamp thing was Alexa Bliss.
Right.
That's it.
Exactly. So I skipped that, but the Fiend finally won the belt for a week. What are your thoughts of Roman Reigns' surprise return at SummerSlam?
Oh, incredible. Because nobody knew it was going to happen. You know, you're actually able to surprise.
Right?
Because there's nobody in the arena to spoil it.
Right.
Which is good. There's nobody there to spoil it.
No signs.
Right.
No signs. None of that.
There's no Dave Meltzer's backstage fishing for shit to like ruin it for everybody and spoil the surprises. There's none of that. So him coming back the way that he did, with his new persona, with Paul Heyman, dude, incredible. They should have done this years ago. He should have been the one to turn on the Shield.
Yeah.
He should have been the one that in 2014, I think, when it was him and Batista in the Rumble, he should have won the Rumble. Because that's what the fans wanted.
Yeah.
They didn't get what they wanted, but you know it's fine. It happens. You know.
This is the Roman Reigns that we've been waiting for years.
Yeah.
You know, he got rid of the vest. You know, he's finally coming out, showing his freaking physique. You know, I think next in line is they're gonna, you know, switch up his theme song, you know, which is way overdue.
For the fans to come back to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know when that's gonna happen. Hopefully Mania, because we forgot to mention right now we're filming and it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Exactly.
You know, and they're having fans there. So if the Super Bowl can have fans, I don't see why WrestleMania, which is 2 months away, why they can't do the same. You know, I think it would be amazing. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel like Roman is gonna be cheered when he comes out, because this is the Roman everyone has been waiting for. Yeah. You know, no vest. Now he's finally talking like he's not saying suffering succotash or whatever it is. You know, he's not the corny lines they fed him. He's not saying none of that. Like, this guy is presenting this persona that is like, you got Paul Heyman. First of all, you got Paul Heyman on your corner, who is the best talker in this business. And he's not saying a word.
Right.
Paul Heyman is not saying one word. All you have to look is his facial reactions. You know what I mean? Because Roman is doing all the talking. You just have Paul Heyman there to kind of calm him down, which is, to me, I think is brilliant. You know, it's brilliant because Paul Heyman it has been doing the best promos since I can remember, and he's not saying a word. If you look at him, he's just standing behind Roman Reigns. You just see his facial reactions. Even when he talks, he whispers in his ear, you know, like, so you don't really know what he's telling him. And I think like that is just amazing to me because it's showcasing Roman Reigns as not only the top guy in the company, but this dude can talk. This dude can talk on the mic. And I think that's great work by WWE.
I think pairing him with Heyman was the best thing because Heyman broke him out of his shell. And is teaching him to be who he's meant to be. You know, and I think a lot of it too had a lot to do with the fans in the arena.
Yeah.
And like constantly, the guy goes out there, Mania, New Orleans. How pissed off was I?
Yeah.
Because of the way the crowd was reacting.
Yeah, that was actually a good match. Him and Lesnar. I thought
it was a great match. He even got busted wide open, bro, with the elbow to the face. And these people, these how can I say this in the most disrespectful but politically correct way possible? These basement dwelling, out of shape, will buy a $400 belt but won't buy a $4 bottle of deodorant.
Right.
This is a trash.
There's no such thing as a $400 deodorant, bottle of deodorant, by the way.
No. They will buy a $4 belt.
But no, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there.
But they won't buy a $4 bottle of deodorant.
Oh.
The Old Spice.
They'll spend $400 on a championship.
Right.
But they're the first ones to voice their opinion about how somebody sucks and Roman this and Roman that, and they wouldn't shut up, and it ruined the match for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the booing and all this shit, and it's like, you guys can't even walk up the stairs without being out of breath. but you're talking about the dude in the ring that he sucks. All right. Lace up your boots if you could bend over and reach him and do it.
Oh man!
So let's go to the other side.
I can't stand these.
Let's talk about the red brand real quick, and we're going to forward a little bit. So Drew McIntyre faces Randy Orton. This is when he beats him with a backslide. What are your thoughts on this whole feud with Drew and Randy? He loses to him on Hell in a Cell, but eventually wins the belt back. What are your thoughts on whole Drew's two reigns?
He needs a crowd.
Yeah.
He needs a crowd. He needs a physical crowd there to feed off of. I like Drew. I do. But I think of somebody like him, because look at the Rumble. He fed off the crowd. They were going nuts.
Yeah.
That was a huge pop, man.
Huge pop.
And that was a huge pop.
They started going down the same stupid path that they do with everybody else, where they go on this monster run, they win the belt, and then they become like this chicken shit BS face or whatever. The first part of his run was like that. And then he lost the belt to Randy, and then when he got it back, it changed. He's not like that anymore. He's more tough in a sense. But I feel like with him, the first half of his reign, I couldn't, man. Like I would tune out from Raw because I needed a crowd.
He was a little too baby, white, what is it?
Yeah, man, white meat, baby face.
Yeah, now he has a little edge now, especially now with the sword and all that. So, what are your thoughts, Sosa, on Drew's two reigns, especially starting from WrestleMania to I guess Hell in a Cell, and then I guess from Raw to now. What are your thoughts on his two reigns?
Right now, so we're talking about the pandemic era, right?
Right.
So if you look at each era, you put a face to it. You know what I'm saying? When you think of the golden era, you think of Hulk Hogan. When you think of the Attitude Era, you think of Stone Cold or The Rock.
The Rock, right?
You know, you think of the
Ruthless Aggression, I assume.
Ruthless Aggression, you think of Cena.
Yeah.
If you think of the pandemic era, it's Drew McIntyre. You know what I mean? Well, I wouldn't put Roman Reigns up there because he's won previous championships, but this is Drew McIntyre's moment, and he's doing things that are different. I mean, you know, he mentioned in the documentary, not a documentary, the interview with Stone Cold on his podcast, how he's talking to the cameraman. He's saying things that are going on social media, you know, like or things that are you know, he's referring to pop culture, like what's going on nowadays, you know, like he's just saying that to the camera. He's, you know, he's working with what he has. I agree with you guys that a lot of his promos are way too I'm not too crazy about them, you know, because he's just like, you know, he's feuding with like 6 different guys, and he seems like he's okay, like he's happy about it. Like, no, like show some anger, show some aggression, you know. But you know, not for nothing, I feel like the moment he returned to WWE, he had that look. He has the it factor. And the fact that he's champion during this time, I think it's great. It would have been better if there was a crowd, but with the promos that he's doing, I feel like he would have gotten the Roman Reigns and Cena reaction from the crowd. That, you know, I don't think they'll, you know, be too crazy about it, whatever. But I think not for nothing, you know, he's doing what he has to do. You know, I think the feud with Orton is great. That ambulance match, I was a huge fan of it. Yeah. You know, especially with you know, Big Show, HBK, Ric Flair coming out, Christian. Yeah. You know, I think it was great. But I think the you know, the you mentioned the Raw brand.
Yeah.
I think right now the Raw brand is not delivering as much as SmackDown.
Yeah.
But the Raw brand has so many feuds intertwined with each other. Because if you think about it, you know, you have Orton feuding with The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. But he's also feuding with McIntyre, who his best friend just turned on him in Sheamus. And then you have Edge, who won the Rumble. He returned. You don't know if he's going after McIntyre or Reigns, but he just had a match with Orton, who's his arch nemesis. You know, I think what they're doing is great, because you don't know what's gonna happen. You know, throw Keith Lee in there, you know, who was getting involved in the mix, in the main event scene. I think right now they're just doing what they can, but they're also they're putting out stuff knowing that there's no fans, and they're getting away with it, you know. But at the end of the day, on social media, you see all the comments, you see all the critics talking on social media, and in the ratings as well. You see it in the ratings. You know, the ratings aren't as high as they should be, because obviously, if you can't make it to the show, you're gonna watch it on TV, and people aren't tuning in. They're not tuning in. So I don't know. It's definitely a crazy time right now.
What's happening too is they kind of shoot themselves in the foot, the WWE, because they put up stuff immediately on YouTube. And what happens is people will go and watch specific things that they see people talking about on YouTube. So like if people go on Twitter like, yo, it was crazy, Sheamus bro kicked Drew McIntyre. They go straight to YouTube to watch the clip from the WWE YouTube page.
Right. So it doesn't count in the rating, but it'll count.
Why am I gonna watch Raw if this is the only thing that I care about? And then you see the views, 1 million, 2 million views, and it's like, all right, you're doing it to yourself.
Exactly. So just real quick, Survivor Series, and then I'll forward to Rumble, and then we'll talk about Bad Bunny, right? So two things that stood out at Survivor Series is the Drew. Speaking of Drew versus Reigns, right? So they teased it a little bit. You know, they did have the match at WrestleMania 35, and he won rightfully so. Reigns coming back from his leukemia and coming back from remission, but of course, you know, there was not much not much emotion. We all knew the outcome. We knew, you know, Reigns deserved the spot, right? Here in MetLife, right? Actually, here in MetLife, behind me. So it was an awesome match. What do you think was the difference between, you know, WrestleMania 35 and I guess this time around when they fought at the Survivor Series? Survivor, start with you, and then we'll go with it.
Oh well, they were both champion.
Right. One.
Right.
It was such a better match. Such a better match. What do you think was the difference? Same guy, different circumstances.
The crowd makes a difference, man. Crowd makes a difference. I think they're both two guys that, well, maybe not so Reigns anymore, but they feed off the crowd, and without a crowd there, it's difficult. Same thing's going on in the.
But I thought the match at Survivor Series was much better than WrestleMania. They just brought the intensity.
I agree.
Very intensive.
I you know, just to add to this, I think you have two totally different. They're two totally different guys than they were in WrestleMania 35.
Yeah.
You know, you have Roman Reigns, who's like, yeah, he came back. WrestleMania 35, whatever. It was just the same old Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Now you have this new Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman on his side. Drew McIntyre now established himself as the top guy on Raw and perhaps in the company. So this could have been – you have the two top guys in the company right now going off, facing off each other, facing against each other at Survivor Series. And also – Roman Reigns went over, but it did not hurt Drew McIntyre. That didn't hurt him at all. Right. Like he even though he lost, he still looked like a top guy. Yeah. I think it was two totally different matches.
Yeah.
The first one obviously was hard hitting and a lot of back and forth. I think this time around they were just trying to test each other out. It was more like you honestly did not know who was going to go over in this match. I think in 35, I knew Roman Reigns was going to go.
Yeah, we all knew he was going to win.
Yeah. And this time around, it was just like they were just trying to test each other out because even in the beginning of the match, they're both holding up their titles for like 3 hours, right. And they were just looking at each other for a long period of time. And it was just like, you can tell like they're letting each other know, like, I'm the top guy here. Right. And you didn't get that same feeling in WrestleMania 35. That's why I enjoyed this match much more than a few years ago.
I agree. What do you think of the whole Jey Uso and his involvement and obviously feuding first with Reigns and eventually being, I don't want to say his lackey, but I guess he does a little dirty work for him. What do you think of Jey Uso?
I like it. It's different, than just being like, I like the Usos as a tag team. I like how they reinvented themselves to like,
the gangsters.
The Guyanese gangsters.
You said Guyanese gangsters?
Yeah, doesn't it remind you of like the Guyanese dudes in high school, like Nissan Maximus?
What? They're not even Guyanese.
I know, but they remind me of them. Yeah. I like the them as a tag team like that. But I also they had to do something with him because his brother is hurt. Mm-hmm. And I like the moves that they're doing. It showed a different side of him, a more aggressive character. And at one point they made you believe like, yo, this guy could be the champion with that feud with Reigns. People actually wanted him to win. Like on Twitter, people were like, yo, I hope he wins. Oh, I think he's gonna win. Yo, imagine he pulls it off. I was listening to another podcast, Matt Men. Shout out to them, guys from Queens. They said the same thing. Like they how crazy would it be if Jey Uso wins the title, right?
I think it was. Yeah, it was. I didn't expect it to happen, but He definitely held his ground, man.
Yeah, bro. He
definitely held his
reinvented
ground.
himself. And even by him losing, put him on another level that, he could be a contender.
And
he
it also
the Raw brand and be a contender for the title there.
And in this case, you have two guys that really built each other up, because Roman, you just saw this new side of Roman Reigns that we've never seen before. And it's like him talking about his family and how the things that he will do to his own cousin in order to be on top,
Yep.
And then with Jey Uso, just the way that he like his facial reactions, the way he saw the moves, and like how if you think about it, this guy never quit. Like he kept getting up. He would take all types of beatings from Roman Reigns, and he kept getting up until he realized, like, you know what, you're the man. You're the man of this family, and I give it to you. So I'm gonna be by your side. But I think it helped build up both characters. This guy Jey Uso was hanging in there with Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles. I remember a couple weeks in a row he defeated two former world heavyweight champions.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think it was great. I think eventually when Jimmy comes back, Jimmy Uso, he'll be a part of that as well. I think they need to add more people to the bloodline, maybe bring back, somebody from the past to kind of be with them, whatever. But I think it's dope. I think it's great. I think it helps build up Roman Reigns. And I think that maybe next year or a couple years later is going to lead to The Rock versus Roman Reigns.
That's the match I want to see. Rock,
which is like, to me, I feel like that right there sells WrestleMania. Just that one match. Yeah. That one match sells WrestleMania, so, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that they're purposely going to hold off until they can fill an arena.
Yeah, absolutely.
They made some excuse that Rock can't be there this year.
I don't think they tried hard enough, but they didn't. They were,
I don't think The Rock is smart, bro. He's not gonna come back unless it makes sense.
Exactly.
So until there's like a full freaking crowd there, no, he's gonna hold out, because the only thing that's gonna happen is Reigns is gonna get better, and The Rock is The Rock, bro. He's just gonna be there.
Right.
He's just chilling right now.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Undertaker's a final appearance at Survivor Series? That was 30 years to the day. Do you think this is it for him, or you think he comes back? I think we already addressed this, but what are your thoughts on the way they handled his final speech?
I just thought it was dumb that they brought out all these people
to empty the ring.
In the ring, and then when they came back, they were all gone. That was just stupid.
I didn't get that part.
I didn't get that either.
I thought it was cool. The little tribute that they did. I think there was a Paul Bearer hologram, right?
Yeah, as well.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty dope. Damn, 30 years, bro.
I know.
It makes you like freaking old.
No.
But I don't know. I listen, with WWE, it's never say never, man. They can always come back. He might get the itch. Vince might need to pop a rating. I don't know. I think he should come back? No. I think that's it, yo. You had the dopest career
of all time.
Out of anyone.
Ever.
Yeah.
No one will ever do what you did. There will never be another streak. There will never be anything like what he did. And he went out on his own terms. And that just, says the type of person that he was, the performer, and the pull that he had backstage.
Yeah.
He went out on his own terms. Usually you leave, you're retiring.
Due to injury.
Go out on your back looking at the lights, man.
Yeah, or that too.
And I don't know. I think it was supposed to originally be over for him at Mania when he lost to Roman.
That's what I think too. That's why I think he lost and put the coat in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, and I just think that, because of like what Sosa mentioned earlier, that he said in the documentary, he just wasn't satisfied with how the match was, and that's what brought him back. If he does come back,
that was in Orlando, man. I remember.
Match. You were there, right, for that?
Yeah. I was a mark that night.
What do you think, Sosa? What do you think?
Comes back, I think cinematic.
What do you think?
The
way they handled that.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
Yeah.
Just because again, I didn't understand the whole thing with bringing out all those guys, all those legends, and then the moment Taker's in the ring, they're all gone.
Right.
Kane comes out, full gimmick. Everyone else is in a suit. Right. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think it was. I think what did it to me and what made me feel a little emotional was seeing the pole bearer hologram.
Yeah.
I think that was a good touch by them. But yeah, I think he'll come back. But I don't see him in the ring as a in-ring performer. I can see him doing appearances like just to pretty much talk to the crowd, or I feel like I can see something where there could be a feud down the road and it could be a buried alive match or a casket match, and I can see Undertaker somehow appearing.
Right.
Somehow, you know what I mean? But I think Taker, hands down, now that I think about it and you think about his legacy and how he was inside the ring and outside the ring, he's the greatest of all time. Right. That's it. Without a shadow of a doubt. You know what I mean? Without a shadow of a doubt. This guy respects the business so much. Yeah. You did not hear in the 30 plus years that we've seen him in the ring or as a performer, I haven't heard of any controversial things going on in his life outside of the ring. You don't hear about any of that.
Scandals or nothing, right? Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. He hasn't come out on TMZ. Nothing on TMZ. Him getting arrested or
drunk driving
being on drugs or you don't hear none of that. And not only that, every single person in the business respects him. You know what I mean? They speak highly of him, and I think this guy did it the right way. He's a locker room leader. Everyone looks up to him. He does not break kayfabe. He did not break kayfabe for a long time, for over 30 years, up until now that he's now like, all right, guys.
And even that, it feels weird to him because he said it on the Stone Cold podcast.
Yeah, and
this is weird for me to be sitting here and telling these stories because I went so many years avoiding it.
Yeah. And I think that's something that, obviously we all know that this is what's lacking nowadays, because I think what made us fans, in the 80s was that we thought this shit was real, and we believed each character. We believed each gimmick. Mm-hmm. Now with the internet and everything else, you go online and you see two guys that are feuding with each other, taking a photo with each other in the gym, or having dinner together.
But not only that, like
or posing with his daughter when he was burnt face. Prior to that,
the WWE's Instagram, bro, like they had pictures of all the wrestlers after the Rumble hugging in the back.
Yeah,
they took a picture of all the women together.
Yeah,
like don't post stuff like that.
Right.
But I think that's it. Like it's established. Kayfabe is dead.
Right.
I think it's established. Like we all know. Wow. I think they all know that fans know the deal. They know what's going on. It's just whatever you present on TV. I feel like if you got two people feuding with each other, especially with the promos, they going at it.
It's personal, right?
Yeah, don't show them on your website hugging each other after or having dinner.
The Hacksaw Iron Sheik moment all over again, dude.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What do you, so speaking of the Rumble, what are your thoughts on the Rumble this year and the two winners they selected or that won? Bianca for the women and Edge for the men. Do you think, a lot of people say that this is a 10th part-timer that won the Rumble. Could have been someone that was that's a full-timer. What are your thoughts on Edge winning the Rumble?
At first I wasn't pleased with it, but Edge is not a part-timer. Right. He's back full-time.
Right.
He is back full-time. The only reason that he was out is because he was injured. He tore his bicep or something, but he's not a part-timer. Should he have won it over somebody like Orton? Probably not. Or somebody like AJ or I don't know. That's the thing. Like who else could have won the Rumble?
Right.
What makes sense right now? Braun was out, so what? He was out injured too. Right. Would you bitch the same way if he won?
Right.
It's just people need something to complain about, dude.
Right.
That's what they just need something to talk about.
I mean, I feel like there were guys that were capable of winning. I think fans were behind Big E.
Big E, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, Big E, Daniel Bryan.
It's too soon for Big E because he's still the IC champion and he just broke out on his own.
Right.
They need a slow build for Big E. I would say next year, if they continue to push, sure.
A little hot streak from December to January and then have them win the Rumble, something like that.
But the thing is, like, these fans nowadays, it's like they want it and it has to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
They hijack the show.
You know who I had in mind? Not for nothing, Finn Balor. Finn Balor, I think the fans would have been behind that. If he would have came out in the Rumble and won it, and then faced off against either Reigns or McIntyre, I think that would have been cool. I mean, he's the champion right now, so that wouldn't have made sense. He's the NXT champion.
Plus, there's rumors that he might defend it at Mania, especially now it's 2 nights. They have to fill a card somehow, so he'll fight night 2 or night 1. I think.
That's my and someone who I had in mind too was Bray Wyatt, who we haven't seen on TV for a few weeks.
Right.
And for him to return, I thought the finish was going to be that Orton returned throughout. I thought Bray Wyatt was going to come back, and then somehow he gets tossed outside or whatever the case is, but not over the top rope. Orton returns, throws Edge over, and then Wyatt comes in or more, teleports in the ring and shit, and throws Orton out, and he wins the Rumble. And then somehow it would have led to a match at WrestleMania, whatever. Because I think, eventually down the road, we're going to see The Fiend versus, he's going to compete for the world title. I think we're going to see that eventually.
Yeah.
But I think right now with his gimmick, he doesn't need it.
Right.
I don't think he needs a world title match at WrestleMania because that's must-see TV right now. Whenever they promote the Firefly Funhouse on Raw, I'm like, I have to see this segment. Like, I have to see it. So I don't think he needs a title. I think Edge winning it was great. It was cool to see that he entered number 1 and outlasted everybody. But I just don't know how he's going to match up against Roman Reigns or Drew McIntyre. I think Edge is a great performer. I just don't know how he's going to match up against them, you know? Well, we'll see, man. It could be spear versus spear at WrestleMania.
I don't want to see Edge as a champion. I don't. I just hate this, like, everybody comes back and they win the belt kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just, nah, man. I don't want to see that. And I don't know, like, if he does face Reigns, then what does that do to, like, does that mess up everything that they've been building all this time? But then who's to be the one to take the title off?
Yeah. I don't think if Edge goes off, goes up against Roman Reigns, I don't see him going over.
Yeah, I don't see Edge winning the title. I'll be surprised if they put the belt on him.
I hope that they don't.
No.
Maybe he uses his pull and says he doesn't want the belt. I don't know.
But you know what though? It's also WWE's way of thinking that they have to have a big name in the main event. And it don't matter if it's a guy from the past or if it's a movie star or if it's a
football legend like
Lawrence Taylor. As long as they have a big name, and this is a good segue.
Yeah.
Right?
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny, baby.
Bad Bunny, baby.
But yeah, I think Edge is a Hall of Famer. Edge has won pretty much every title, that we can think of. And to have him in the main event, it brings back a lot of the old fans from the Ruthless Aggression era. Yeah. And I think that's where they're going towards also, because think about it. We used to have guys coming back from the Attitude Era, right? Which is still going on now, but a lot of those guys can't really compete in the ring anymore. Yeah. So now they're bringing back guys from the Ruthless Aggression era. Right. You have MVP, man. This guy came back and he pretty much saved so many people's careers.
Yeah, Cedric and Lashley and
Shelton Benjamin, we saw Carlito return, and now he's perhaps going to be full time with them.
Which set that up? MVP set that up.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty cool, because now we're it's 2021.
Yeah.
And the Ruthless Aggression era, bro, that was like 15, yeah, it could be 20 years ago pretty much. So now they're bringing those guys back, and they're these are the legends that we're talking about, which is kind of crazy, man. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty crazy. But they can still perform in the ring, they can still do their thing. And Edge, I would put him in that category, even though he made his debut during the Attitude Era. Sure. He really pretty much made a name for himself during the Ruthless Aggression Era. You know what I mean? As a singles competitor.
Single star,
yeah, exactly. And I think it's pretty cool. I think I would love to see Edge go up against John Cena again. Just I don't know. I think it's a throwback.
It's gonna happen in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
imagine like perfect for Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, right.
They like to see the old school matches.
Yeah, they like that. But I think it's pretty cool. I think hey.
I mean, they did ask for Yokozuna to wrestle in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
The guy's been dead over 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Unbelievable. But hey, we saw Christian return.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind seeing Edge and Christian run.
He's back part-time. He got cleared to.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind seeing Edge and Christian one more run. Them going up against guys like Miz and Morrison. I think that would be great for TV.
This has a lot to do with what I was saying before. Like a lot of these fans, right? All they know how to do is complain. So they're upset. Oh, Edge. Oh, Bad Bunny. Oh, Booker T. Blah, blah, blah. But yo, are you even a fan? Do you even watch? Like, have you watched WWE since like the first WrestleMania? Who was in the main event of the first WrestleMania?
They probably can.
Mr. Hogan, Mr. T,
Piper.
Who was the guest referee?
Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali.
Cyndi Lauper was there. Like, look at WrestleMania 2. Who was there? Didn't they have a freaking a battle royal with NFL players?
Yeah.
Bam Bam Bigelow, WrestleMania 11. Didn't he wrestle
LT?
LT. So every year, WrestleMania, there's a celebrity, right? Or a legend comes back has a match. We talked about it on the last pod. Didn't Jericho wrestle in a Legends match against Ricky Steamboat, Roddy Piper, Jimmy Snuka?
Yeah.
But no, these people want to sit on their computer and complain about, oh, Bad Bunny, he came out, he hit John Morrison. Morrison should have never came to WWE, blah, 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 blah. Yo, I was pulling it up while you were talking before.
Yeah.
The Bad Bunny Booker T video has 53 million views on YouTube. The video that made Bad Bunny reached number one. The song that made Bad Bunny reach number one on Billboard, Dakiti, has 563 million views in 3 months on YouTube. Okay. The song that Bad Bunny did with Drake has 1.1 billion views on YouTube. The guy has 37.1 million YouTube subscribers.
Yep.
On Instagram, right? Go to Instagram. Bad Bunny, 29.7 million followers. Go to WWE.
And right now he's only following one account.
Yeah.
WWE.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And WWE has 23.2 million followers. Wow. So he has more followers than they do.
Yeah. And just to add to what Vibes is saying, not for nothing, I've never seen so many women post a video that's WWE related until Bad Bunny showed up at Royal Rumble, jumped off the top rope, and it was shared by so many people that don't even watch wrestling.
Yeah. That's where I was going next.
Yeah. And that blew my mind. That blew my mind.
We have a friend that does not watch wrestling. Yeah. I think the only wrestler she knows is Hulk Hogan, because everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is. Yeah. She watched Monday Night Raw because Bad Bunny was going to be there.
Yep.
And now she's a wrestling fan.
Yep. And she's going to buy his merch, most likely. She's going to buy his merch.
Yeah.
Speaking of merch, Bad Bunny has the number one selling merchandise in all of WWE. And people are complaining about that.
To me, it's ridiculous.
But these guys, but you're complaining. Oh, how's he outselling Roman Reigns? How long has Roman Reigns been there? You got people that are not wrestling fans buying these shirts. Man. People that are not wrestling fans tuning into this product.
Because these people don't go out. These people don't. They live in a little bubble. You know what I mean? They don't know what the hell's going on in the world. And they just, they only listen. I don't even want to go there, bro. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you right now.
I'm gonna keep it 100.
I'll let Rafi Vibe say it because he has no filter. But go ahead, bro.
I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it 100. Had that been Metallica or some other rock band, all these bitch ass wrestling fans on Twitter would have been like, "Yo, this is the greatest thing ever, Metallica, dude." Yeah, but because the guy speaks Spanish and they don't understand what he's singing about. You're going to sit there and you're going to talk shit.
Yeah.
Pull the numbers that he does, and then you can talk shit.
He probably has better numbers than their favorite artist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they don't understand the magnitude. Like this freaking guy. This is the only guy that shut down New York City and had a freaking concert on the street on a bus, driving through the Bronx. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Yo, this dude.
Great business decision, dude.
Yeah, and then forget about WWE for a minute, right? Forget about WWE. Other major American companies are acknowledging this guy. You see him. He was in the Super Bowl a few years ago. He showed up in the halftime show. He has Cheetos. Cheetos has him in commercials. Corona beer has him in commercials with Snoop Dogg. You know, this guy, they're finally acknowledging him as perhaps the biggest international superstar right now. You know what I mean? And and forget all that, right? Forget all that. He is a legit huge WWE fan since a little kid. Yes, because he constantly posts about WWE. And let's not forget, this guy has made a video with Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's made a video with Ric Flair. Now he has the Booker T video. Like, he wants these legends in his videos because he's a legit fan. So
if you watch his music videos, he wears wrestling merch.
Yeah. He wears Chalkline. He wears Chalkline apparel. You know what I mean? He wears Chalkline, bro. Like, come on, man. This guy is legit. He goes to WrestleManias. He's been. I remember seeing him in person before he was a huge star. I'm like, yo, that's that bunny guy, a rabbit guy. You know what I mean? And now, like, not for nothing, he's one of my favorite artists ever, right? And the fact that he's a freaking mark and he's freaking a huge wrestling fan makes me love him even more, you know. But I think it's cool because it's probably his dream to be a WWE superstar, just like all of us, right? Yep. Just like all of us. And he's reached that level that WWE is like, you know what? Not for nothing, this guy's a huge fan, man. And this guy, you know, and seeing him, not for nothing, seeing him these past few weeks, he looks like a natural. He looks like a natural.
He's been training in the Performance Center. He's actually putting in the work. To do it.
He wants to.
So where were the people bitching when Jon Stewart was there? Where were the people bitching when Hugh Jackman punched The Miz?
Yeah.
Where were the people bitching when Snoop Dogg did it in AEW? Where are the people bitching about Shaq?
Yeah.
And Shaq's gonna have a match with Cody.
Yeah.
But that's cool. It's cool. The problem is, because the guy speaks Spanish, the guy sings in Spanish, and that's the issue. Oh, I don't understand what he's saying. That's not your problem. Too bad.
Yeah.
Pull the numbers he got. The only numbers they know is the cholesterol intake that they have.
WWE is smart right now. They're smart. And I think what I love about this is that, again, it's a Latin artist that, you know, and I'm going to give all the props to Triple H, man, because Triple H right now, he thinks outside the box. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you know, he knows, like, yo, not for nothing, you have this guy who's a huge fan and he's the #1 artist in the world. And why not? Why not bring him aboard? You know what I'm saying? And yo, WrestleMania, if he's at WrestleMania and, you know, he has a rumored match with against The Miz and Morrison, and he's gonna pair off with Damian Priest, who's Puerto Rican, right? I think that's going to that's gonna have so many people that don't even know anything about wrestling watching that just for that. Look, and vibes, you know, not you know, just to go back to what you said. Yo, Snooki had a match at WrestleMania, bro.
Where were the people complaining about that?
Snooki, bro. Come on, man.
Where were the people complaining about that? And she looked like trash out there.
Right?
Yo,
she could do a cartwheel. She could do a cartwheel. That's what happened.
But this
cartwheel.
Guy, but this dude that actually is a fan, knows what he's actually training to do this. It's the smartest thing that WWE could have done, because it's gonna put so many eyes. And yo, if I'm the Miz and Morrison, hell yeah, I want to match.
Hell yeah.
People, do you know how many people are gonna know who they are now just because of that?
Yeah.
Or even Damian Priest, what is gonna do to his career that is gonna skyrocket him through? Yo, as soon as Bad Bunny jumped off the top rope, it was on World Latin Star on Instagram. And how many people were commenting and viewing that shit?
You know Monday, what I was
Monday when he smacked Morrison with the mic, yo, it was everywhere, dude. It was all over the place.
Yep.
And this is what they do for Mania. Did Mike Tyson shove Austin? What happened?
88,
the Austin era began, baby. And they won the war.
ESPN. Yeah.
And you know what? I wish fans were in attendance, and I wish this wasn't going on during the pandemic era, because, yo, imagine Bad Bunny at a concert with thousands of people in front of him, and freaking R-Truth is in the crowd. And then he's like, he brings R-Truth to the stage and he freaking pins him for the 24/7 championship or some shit, right? Yo, how much attention will that get? You know what I mean? Like, just little things like that. You know what I mean? Like, it matters, you know? And
Rosenberg won the
title.
Come on, man. A little bit of attention.
Yeah.
Imagine Bad Bunny winning the 24/7 title.
My gosh, that would be huge. That would be huge, bro.
These
you're gonna
fellas,
have women you're gonna have women buying the championship, the 24/7 championship, bro, as a belt buckle. Like they're gonna wear that shit. Like I can see that happening, man. It's just crazy. It's just crazy.
But these fans, they're stupid, man. That's the problem. They think
don't know.
that they think that they run this company and people they have to do what they want instead of just being a fan and sitting there and doing what you're supposed to do. Shut your goddamn mouth and let them run their company. They know what they're doing.
Yo, dude, trust me. I want to go in so bad on this topic. I'm holding myself back. Dude, I'm telling you, man.
I don't care.
Dude, these guys probably, they live in their parents' basement. You know what I'm saying? Fucking.
They shower once a month.
Sorry, Mr. Wrestle.
Okay, that's all right.
But it just gets me so upset. You know what I mean? Because as you know,
once a month.
We're all Latinos right here. You know what I mean? And and this is and I think that this is a smart business decision. You're a businessman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is a smart business decision by WWE. You know what I mean? It has so many people's eyes on WWE at the moment. And the fact that fans are criticizing this because they don't agree with they don't even know who he is. Or they don't understand what he's saying. They're saying that, his English isn't that great. It doesn't matter. This guy he just made millions of dollars. Not him, but WWE just made millions of dollars for him showing up on TV twice.
Yeah.
Twice. You know what I mean? It's just, to me, I think it's just very it's dumb. You know what I mean? It's that whole American way of thinking that they can't relate
if I don't know who he is, he's a nobody.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And I think it's wrong, and fans are going to get proven wrong by all of this because he's a legit fan since day one. You know what I mean? Since he was a little kid, and he shows it on social media all the time. You know what I mean?
The first Latin artist to ever hit #1 on Billboard. Do you know what that is? That's a big ass deal. Yo, you know how big of a deal it is that if you had like an Amazon device or you tell Siri, hey, play the #1 song in the world, and Bad Bunny plays? Like, that's wild, dude.
Bro.
And he did that. He posted a video of him doing that.
It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable.
Just to wrap
for
up.
Me,
go ahead.
For me, smart move.
Absolutely.
Great business decision. Whatever they're paying him, they made it back in one day off T-shirts.
Right.
Off merch. T-shirts, sweaters, all that.
Yeah, I agree. They made the money back.
Yo, and not for nothing, if any other people watch this and want to have a show about Bad Bunny and talking about the critics and everything, yo, put us on, man. Put us on. Put us on, because we're going to go in, bro.
That's right.
Hit me up. Hit me up. I will go in. I will go in.
Final topic to wrap this up. It was a great pandemic era. This was on the fly, right? Henry's
yes, sir.
Miami.
Freestyling, baby. We freestyling.
Right. That's right. We're gonna close talking about Bianca Belair. What are your thoughts on her winning the female Rumble? Any argument there?
Well deserved, man. Well deserved. She is the future of the women's division. She's got the look. She's got the talent. She gets a little nervous on the mic, you can tell. But once she gets over that hump of that little nervousness, yo, she's the future of the division, bro. And I hope it's her versus Sasha. Because that match is gonna be dope. And so I'll put it this way. My kid is a freaking huge fan of Bianca Belair and watched the Rumble because she was in it, and has asked me for her action figure because she won the Royal Rumble. When she debuted on Raw and she saw her come out, she wanted her hair like hers. and that is the influence that she has on kids.
Right.
That yo, they see her, yo, I can be that. She's a freaking athlete. She has a dope ass physique.
Yeah.
She's hot. When she's not when she's out of her ring gear, yo, she's mad pretty.
Yeah.
And yo, she can go. She can bust ass in the ring. And does she hold the record for eliminations in the Rumble?
Probably. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I know she probably had a record for as far as
I think Tamina holds that record. Tamina.
But she had two years of a dominant showing in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And yo, sky's the limit, man. I think she goes to Mania. I think she challenges Sasha, and she takes the belt, man.
Yeah, I agree with Vibes 100%. I'm telling you, man. You know, every time I see her on TV now, I think about that first takeover that she was in.
Yeah.
And I forgot this guy's name. This freaking guy that he does these the pre-shows for NXT. He's like balding. He has the curly hair.
Sam.
Not Sam.
Yeah.
Not Sam.
Yeah, whatever his name is. And he criticized her in the ring. I think of that all the time, bro. Like, look back at her first takeover and what he said about her on TV. Like, I think she used that as motivation.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, bro, she has everything. She has everything, man. Like, you know, like Vibes mentioned, the physique, the look, bro, she's so dope in the ring now. Like, she's so agile. She's strong. She can do flips and
CrossFit stuff, all her gymnastic stuff.
Yeah.
Track stuff and blending it all.
She's blending it. She's blending all of that. These are things that we've never seen before from a female wrestler in the ring. And I think, you know, her smile, bro, I love it. I love her smile. But yeah, bro, that whole look, like, honestly, she could be like a comic book character, bro, with the hair, you know, and she looks like a superhero in the ring. And I think so many women, so many young African-American women can look at her and see her as a superhero and just everyone in general. And I think, bro, it's her time. It's her time. And you know what? I want to give so much credit to this era of women wrestling in WWE, because so many people, so many women are standing out. And it's just like, this is the greatest time in women's wrestling ever. You know, you have Charlotte, you have Becky Lynch, who was dominant for a whole year. You have Sasha Banks, Bayley. You have Asuka. Even Nia Jax, who's dominant, even though reckless but dominant.
Yes.
You know, you have other female wrestlers that
other feds, right? Like even Gordon Grace and Deanna Puzarro, like all those women, right?
Yeah, in all the companies, bro. NXT, AEW, New Japan, like
the whole era. You're talking, I could go on and on.
NWA, yeah, absolutely. Like, all these women have this like cool look. They're different. They're winning championships. Thunder Rosa, bro. Yeah, I love Thunder Rosa, man. And you know, like, this is their time, bro. And you know, they're main eventing pay-per-views now. They're main eventing shows on network TV. So I'm, more props to them. But right now, Bianca Belair's time, without a shadow of a doubt.
On that note, we end. So thank you for walking us through the pandemic era. I know we had to fast forward a lot of stuff, but we were able to, record in 2 sessions. So appreciate your time, Vibes. Appreciate your time, Sosa.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. All righty, guys. There you go. Another episode in the books.